Voyager 1 was launched after Voyager 2, but because it was on a faster path, it left the asteroid belt before its twin. On December 15, 1977, it passed Voyager 2. In April 1978, when it was about 165 million miles or 265 million kilometers from Jupiter, it began its mission to take pictures of the planet. When the Pioneer spacecraft flew by Jupiter in 1973 and 1974, the atmosphere was calmer than it was when the pictures were sent back in January 1979. Voyager 1 took a picture every 96 seconds for 100 hours starting on January 30, 1979, to make a color time-lapse movie of Jupiter's 10 rotations. The spacecraft entered Jupiter's moon system on February 10, 1979, and in early March, it found a thin ring going around Jupiter, less than 19 miles or 30 kilometers thick. At 12:05 UT on March 5, 1979, Voyager 1 came closest to Jupiter at a distance of 174,000 miles or 280,000 kilometers. After that, it came close to several of Jupiter's moons, including Amalthea, at a distance of 261,100 miles or 420,200 kilometers. Io at a distance of 13,050 miles or 21,000 kilometers, Europa at a distance of 45,830 miles or 733,760 kilometers, and Ganymede at 71,280 miles or 114,710 kilometers. One of the most interesting things found was a strange yellow, orange, and brown ball with at least 8 active volcanoes spewing material into space. This makes it one of the most, if not the most, geologically active planets in the solar system. Since there are active volcanoes, it's possible that the sulfur and oxygen in Jupiter's space come from the sulfur dioxide-rich plumes that come from Io's volcanoes. The spacecraft also found Thebe and Métis, 2 new moons. After going by Jupiter, Voyager 1 made its first course change on April 9, 1979, so it would be ready for its trip to Saturn. On October 10, 1979, a second change was made to make sure the spacecraft didn't crash into Saturn's moon Titan. It flew by Saturn again in November 1979, and it was just as amazing as the first time. Voyager 1 found 5 new moons, a ring system with hundreds of bands, wedge-shaped clouds of microscopic particles in the B ring called spokes, a new ring, the G ring, and shepherding satellites on either side of the F ring that keeps the rings clear. The spacecraft took pictures of Saturn's moons Titan, Mimas, Enceladus, Tethys, Dione, and Rhea as it flew by. Based on what was found, it looked like all the moons were mostly made of water ice. Titan, which Voyager 1 flew by about 2,500 miles away at 5:41 UT on November 12, 1979, was one of the most interesting places to look. Pictures showed that the atmosphere was so thick that it completely covered the surface. The probe found that 90% of the moon's air was nitrogen. The surface had a pressure of 1.6 atmospheres and a temperature of negative 292 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 180 degrees Celsius. Besides Earth, atmospheric data suggests that Titan may be the first body in the solar system to have liquid on its surface. Also, the fact that there was a lot of nitrogen, methane, and hydrocarbons with more complicated structures showed that chemical events from the beginning of time may happen on Titan. The closest Voyager 1 got to Saturn was on November 12, 1980 at 2346 UT, when it was about 78,290 miles away or 126,000 kilometers. After meeting Saturn, Voyager 1 left the solar system at a rate of about 3.5 AU, 523 million kilometers or 325 million miles per year, 35 degrees north of the ecliptic plane and in the general direction of the Sun's motion in relation to other stars. Due to the specific needs of the Titan flypast, the spacecraft was not sent to Uranus or Neptune. On February 14, 1990, Voyager 1's cameras were turned around and took about 60 pictures of the Sun and planets. These pictures were the first portrait of our solar system as seen from outside. When the spacecraft took the pictures, it was about 40 AU from the Sun, 3.7 billion miles or 6 billion kilometers. Carl Sagan, a professor at Cornell University and a member of the Voyager research team, made the pale blue dot picture, which is a mosaic of those pictures. Even though Mercury and Mars can't be seen, this picture has also been called the Solar System Family Portrait. Mercury was too close to the Sun to be seen, and Mars was on the same side of the Sun as Voyager 1. This meant that the cameras could only see the black side of the planet. The two Voyager spacecraft took a total of 67,000 photos, and these were the last ones. Their cameras were turned off to save power and memory for the trip through space. All of the contacts with planets ended in 1989, and Voyager 1 and 2's missions were combined into the Voyager Interstellar Mission, or VIM, which started officially on January 1, 1990. The goal of the new mission is to expand NASA's study of the solar system beyond the area around the outer planets and maybe even beyond the Sun's influence. One of the specific goals is to collect data on the area where the heliosphere, or the part of space controlled by the Sun's magnetic field and solar field, meets the interstellar medium. On February 17, 1998, at a distance of 69.4 AU from the Sun, Voyager 1 passed Pioneer 10 as the most distant object made by people. On December 16, 2004, Voyager scientists said that Voyager 1 had sent back readings of a strong magnetic field at a distance of 94 AU. This meant that it had passed the termination shock and was now in the heliosheath. On October 25, 2012, the spacecraft was the first to leave the heliosphere and start taking measurements of the environment between the stars.